Hey everyone, Hefe here. Today on Beer You Beer Me, we are going to discuss the other age-old question, what is a lager? This beer's for you. A few weeks ago, we had discussed about what makes an ale, the oldest style of beer in the world. But it wasn't until lagers came into the picture that there really was a true king of beers. Ales can definitely be seen as more popular, but when we look around the rest of the whole world, lagers do reign supreme. They are a light and easy drinking style of beer that just about anybody can get on board with, although they are a little harder to make. The origin of the lager happened pretty similarly compared to how an ale was discovered. It was an accident. An ale yeast had been around for thousands of years without anyone really knowing where it came from or how it kept being produced. Lager yeast didn't really make an appearance until about the 1500s. Now the term lager itself actually just means to store, which a lot of people did in those days anyway. But back then it was more of a necessity. There wasn't any refrigeration, but they also didn't want it to be too cold, and they definitely didn't want it to be hot. Heat keeps yeast moving. Cooler temperatures slows the yeast down. That way you have a more consistent product. Cellars in those days were pretty much either just a hole in the ground or it was a cave. And then all of a sudden in the 1500s, right around the same time as the German purity law, German brewers had discovered something was going on with their yeast. They opened up the fermentation lid, and all of a sudden they're looking at it and going, what the fuck? Normally when a beer is being brewed, the yeast rises to the top, makes a big foamy bubbly blanket like we discussed with our ales. But it wasn't there. Very little sheet of bubbles were on top, but that's because they found out all the yeast was sinking or settling on the bottom of the fermenter, which was very unusual, which coincides with them being brewed at lower temperatures, about 45 to 55 degrees. Hence why lagers get the term bottom fermented beers as opposed to ales, which are top fermented beers. The yeast didn't mutate necessarily, it actually just kind of breeded. It is a microorganism after all. So what was happening was that the combination of this local German yeast was making some new yeasty babies with a foreign yeast. See, and back at this time, there was a lot of trading happening from the New World, South America, Central America, and North America. Just recently it had been discovered where the other half of this new lager yeast came from. Apparently Argentina, of all places. Travelers were coming from the New World bringing new goods, vegetables, livestock, grains, and all the wild yeast from the area they were taking it, in this case Argentina, had brought it back to their homeland and it merged in with all of their natural ingredients at home. Without them even thinking about it, these yeasts were starting to find each other and make sweet, sweet, beery love. Nature finds a way to make new beer. Now at this point, Germany loved the way that the beer turned out. It came out crystal clear, it was super full of flavor, a little bitterness, a little malty sweetness, but really clean. It was attractive. Just look at that body. Even to today's standards, some of the best lagers in the world still come from Germany and the surrounding areas, that northern section of Europe. The Czech Republic, Germany, the Netherlands, all make fantastic lagers. You've probably had a few yourself. Now all lagers can really be broken down into pretty similar aspects. Most of these beers are going to be very clean in appearance. Very crisp, not hazy, not thick, but still have tons of different flavor options. That brings us to our next segment, the Wheel of Styles. If you remember this segment from last time, I'm going to break down each style of lager and then give you some examples so you can go out and try them for yourself. These are your Macho Man go-tos. Very light, pale straw color, malty with a slight bitterness. I could list off a million of them. Budweiser, Old Style, MGD, Coors Banquet, you name it. Light lager. These are the ones that reign supreme across the planet. Very light in body, light gold to a pale straw, very low malt, dry body. Super easy drinking. Almost like water. Bud Light, Miller Lite, Coors Light, Pilsner. Straight up European gold. Medium in body, pale straw gold in color, high carbonation, very crisp, little grassy, hoppy, super clean. Most popular Pilsner style is Pilsner Urquell, but today I'm here drinking a Weihenstephaner Pilsner. Amber lager. Medium in body, light amber to a copper in color, malty beer, bold caramel flavor, not very bitter. Most popular here in the States is the Yuengling Traditional Lager. Oldest brewery in America. Kolsch. Very light in body. Pale straw gold color, high carbonation, well-balanced, slight bitter. Kolsch gets its name from where it's brewed, in Cologne, Germany. Popular choice for this would be Reisdorf Kolsch. Alt beer. Medium in body, copper to brown in color, malty flavor, low hop aroma, definite bitterness. More comes from the aged culture of it, kind of musky. You want to find an American version? Founder's Curmudgeon will definitely fill that need. Vienna Lager. Vienna Lager. Medium in body, reddish brown in color, malty up front with a hop bitter finish. Easily my favorite Vienna Lager out there is the Modelo Negra. Märzen. Medium in body, copper color, rich malty flavor, spicy and bold. These were the original Oktoberfest beers that were really made to have bold flavor. Perfect example would be a spot in Oktoberfest. Hits the nail on the head every year. California Common. Medium in body, light amber to a copper in color, mild fruity with an assertive hop presence. This was the first true American style made in this country. They use lager yeast, but they ferment them at ale temperatures, so higher temperatures. Brings out a lot of sweetness. Anchor Steam Beer is easily the most classic version of a California Common you can come by. America's first microbrewery. Dark lager. Medium to full in body. Copper to dark brown in color, almost black. Roasty malt sweetness with a low hop flavor. Very malty style lager. One of my favorite beers from Brazil, and probably the only one I can think of, Zingu Black. Very tasty. Bock. Medium to full in body, deep dark copper in color. Super complex roasty malt with a caramel taste to it. Bocks are traditionally associated with the ram. More likely than not, you'll see a ram somewhere on the bottle or can. Doppelbock. Medium to full in body, deep gold to a dark brown color. Very rich and malty. Easily one of my favorites is the Eyinger Celebrator. Super dark, really rich, nice drinking, little boozy. And it comes with a little ram ornament on the neck. Eisbach. Really full in body. Deep copper to a black in color. Bold taste, high ABV. Eisbachs use what's called freeze distillation. They take a regular Bach or a Doppelbock and they freeze the water in the beer. Then they remove it. Then what's left is a much more concentrated, boozier version of that beer. Less water, more alcohol. Kulmbacher Eisbach is a fantastic representation of this style, but there are a lot of others with very different flavor profiles. I highly recommend you go check them out. Schwarzbier, light to medium in body, black in color. Schwarzbier in German brewing is black beer. Super malty, but with hops. Full in flavor. A lot of smokiness in this brand. That being said, Fathead's Black Knight is a fantastic beer for it. Lagers may be the most popular beer around the whole world just because it's so clean and easily approachable. Ales definitely have my favor in particular. Lagers are still pretty good. I just feel like you could have so much more fun with ales and do so much more because lagers are so restricted in what they're able to pull out. Don't get me wrong, when it comes to well-crafted beer, lagers really show why they're so popular. Easy drinking, really light, clean beer. I hope you enjoyed what you saw today, and if you did, like and subscribe. Make sure to share this video with your friends, and until next time, this beer's for me.